Yes, hello, greetings. I'm Dr. Diana Papademos. I'm a professor at the State University of New York, which is the old Westbury campus on Long Island near New York City. And I'm pleased to be presenting to you, along with my colleague, Professor Layla Music, our presentation on globalizing gender and gendering global sociology. We participating jointly in the project called COIL, the Collaborative Online International Interactive Learning. It is a project that initiated by the State University of New York very few years ago, and I've been engaged with it for the last 2.5 years with the glad to have the opportunity to work with Professor Music. She immediately came to mind as a prospective partner for working together as a way to engage, not only as partners, as professionals, but as a way to engage our students, both professors at our respective universities. COIL is part of the SUNY system, is now working. We have 64 campuses and many faculty across the system working together with colleagues around the globe. We work together to develop courses and units and modules in our courses with our international colleagues and find ways to engage the interaction of our students. So our work together is coming from that experience of this practice of doing this work. The purpose of the work has been to increase intercultural understanding and through actual direct interaction, but also through the academic world that we part of, but also interconnected with, as we both are, with the international community through our professions and numerous academic and scholarly associations. So we're glad to present to you on that basis. Our coursework, among one of the things we had to do in our courses to determine how we would focus our theme, how to further gender the global sociology, and how to further globalize gender studies, and our agreement to use the United Nations documents such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, CEDAW, the Convention to End All Discrimination Against Women, CRC, the Convention of the Rights of the Child, a number of other conventions and protocols became one classroom strategy that we could engage our students in mutual reading and basis for raising the questions of inequality and the desire for moving further to have a greater plurality and diversity of perspective, but also to cross not only gender lines, but also to cross nationality, race, class, and some of the other divisions that we experience in our different cultures, but also have some consistency around the world. And this practice of using the documents is tremendously useful. I was able to incorporate it into my courses to raise the gender issues. That would include also working with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Number 5 refers to gender equality. And so the work is kind of fit into a stream of previous work, having done together to work collaboratively, but also as an ongoing work that we're participating in as much as we are contributing to conferences, hopefully like this one, and also in our presentations in the other international arenas and our own professional associations like Sociologists for Women in Society. So I'm pleased to say that I think we had great success, and Professor Music was going to tell you a little bit more of the outcomes. In addition to our reading materials for the students, we used other documentary materials, and she'll have more to say about using Persepolis as an example, but also how we used other topics. Part of the logic of our analysis has been to consider goals, the human rights goals, the gender equality goals, but also to address the many problems that create obstacles to achieving those goals. So such themes as human trafficking, as well as the issues of forced migration, all have come up as part of our discussion of the problems associated with trying to achieve greater gender equality in the international arena. And similarly, my approach is also in my global sociology course is not just to discuss problems. As a sociologist, I'm also interested in social movements and strategies that are designed to help people work collaboratively in many ways as part of civil society movement, to work collaboratively. And certainly our work is within higher education and colleges is such an important element of all of that. And so it's not just us embracing the agendas put forth by UN, but indeed working to have the UN be more responsive to the academic community, as we are, I think, important educators globally, and we all have come to value education on the international arena as much as anything that we able to contribute to building a more civil society across the world, but also a more peaceful, secure world where human justice is actually enacted for everybody. And there's an awful lot of work to do in every capacity. But as college, higher education educators, I think COIL has provided us with a wonderful opportunity to work together to keep moving further with those with our own scholarship, but with our engagement with our teaching, with our students, and with our engagement across our national divide. So Professor Mušić will have more to say about some of the themes perhaps that came up in our courses, but also some of the outcomes we did in our paper, which I think you'll be able to access, see some of the comments students made, which left us feeling, while we had a great success on the term, that we have more to do to find practical ways for students to connect our different time zones and the difficulties of actually physically crossing, traveling, and all of these obstacles that make it not easy for academics, especially also our students. We can find more ways to increase that interaction. And we have this great tool now of creating virtual communication. So I thank you again for inclusion in the conference, and I certainly look forward to learning more from other presenters. Thank you very much, and Professor Mušić will have more to say.
My name is Leila Mušić. I'm a research scholar at the Faculty of sunny Old Westbury, New York, and today I'm presenting the results of COIL project that was done by Professor Diana Papadimas. Professor already had introduced the main facts about the project, and today I'm presenting the results of COIL seen by our students. Persepolis is globally part of the documentaries that are watched inside the sociological courses globally in United States. As part of online COIL learning project, Professor Papadimas and Professor Mušić had their student watch Persepolis and afterwards compare it with the UN documents. Persepolis, as an autobiography and a graphic novel, had influenced a lot of discussions among the students on the human rights of women and girls. Additional documentaries that were watched inside the global sociology courses were Humanity from Space, Inconvenient Truth, Babies, Bitter Cane, Holy Land, T-shirt Travels, Like Me, Red Light, Green Light, and I'm Not Alone. COIL students' responses inside the communication on the part of the New York students were following. The majority of students in global sociology found that participation COIL met the goals. Reading materials were integrated into global sociology course of the UN documents UDHR, CRC, CEDAW, SDH. All students found using CEDAW most useful. In their research papers for the course ahead of the UDHR and the CRC, the gender equality SDH was often included in their writings. Students enjoyed the interactive component of the learning classes with the Sarajevo University and had requested more online time together. Despite technical challenges of different time zones and schedules, voluntary email communication was very satisfying for the half of the class, and a few developed online communication with others, as reflected in Sarajevo students' comments. Interaction with Professor Mušić was valid for her knowledge and willingness to persist using the online system, as well as the interaction with Professor Papadimas. Some comments were following. It was interesting to learn about how their education is and their perception of what we have discussed in class. Bosnia is made up of a bunch of different ethnic groups. I thought for the most part that European countries share the same ethnicity, but actually this was not the case. I learned from Bosnian students how they live. I was surprised to learn they know English. I learned that diversity is different than the United States. Global sociology is something that I enjoyed and loved at the same time. Knowing more about what is going on in different countries worldwide is a must that each person should be aware. It is important to know about different cultures. On the part of the opinions and assessments in essays that were conducted by Bosnian and Herzegovinian students, there were following opinions given. In the second semester of the course Sociology of Gender, taught by Professors Papadimas and Mušić, my colleagues and I were assigned the task of establishing communication with colleagues from the New York City. At one of the first lectures, we had the opportunity to watch a movie about the girl Marian Satrapi. The theme of our communication with colleagues from New York was precisely Persepolis, autobiography of Marian Satrapi. This film deals with a woman in Iran in 1980s. The film describes the life of a young girl named Mariana, who left her country with various troubles, leaving her serious consequences in the continuation of her life. My partner for communication from the University of New York was Tiffany's College. We talked through email communication about faculties and our common goals. Unfortunately, we did not have enough time to discuss Persepolis, but we also touched on those topics. I like this task very much because I like to meet other people and build friendships. I think that everyone should have the same or similar experience and simply meet people around the world. Thanks to the Zoom and this kind of task, I met Tiffany and I was given the opportunity to know you better and to start a wonderful friendship. To conclude this task, I would like to say that this kind of communication and joint work and socializing can create wonderful friendships all over the world. Our communication was based on the film called Persepolis, in which the main character is Marian Satrapi, where we have discussed the rights of women, the CEDAW Convention and the Istanbul Convention, as well as the life of people in Iran, 70s and 80s of the last century. This system helps us spread the vision of environment around us, learning new things and having new experiences, which is very rare on our faculties in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I have been in individual communication with a student named Farah from New York. The content of our communication was primarily getting to know each other a little bit, discussing about differences and similarities between USA and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I have been able to learn about feminism, types of feminism, and significance of feminism for our society, as well as the rights of women and children. I learned how important gender equality for our society is to develop even more. For me as a student, this communication encourages me to work harder academically and means a lot for my further progress in developing as future sociologist. This communication will improve our scientific community and help our faculty developing continuous at local and international level. The topic of this discussion, in part of the students in Sarajevo, also involved the meaning that this is good idea, that they are glad that professors propose this communication with these students because in some way they expanded their aspects, socialized, met with someone who is not from their surrounding at all. Also, the conclusions that are based on the Professor Papadimas and Mušić. The ongoing project lasted for 1 year in preparation, going through the Academy of COL as online global collaborative project or system of learning. Collaborative online international learning. Dr. Mušić and Papadimas completed the COL Academy last year and developed and offered the module in global sociology at Old Westbury and sociology of gender in Sarajevo, which started in 2008. The pedagogical project has resulted in one professional conference presentation, and research in support of the project has been submitted to the international conferences in Istanbul and New York. Both professors are engaged with continual COIling in fall and spring terms. The intersectionality of our lives as professor, colleagues, women with different nationality, age, and experiences adds to the intercultural conversation and learning, which adds to the value of our endeavors. Thank you so very much.